been Rude Paul, Anita Stylist, Dummy Moore, Arthritis. Take your pick.
Portia, people would say that you stole somebody's man. What? So,
here we go! Here the fuck we go!
She need a man. She'll take a man.
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. And today, we're going to be talking about The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3, Episode 2. Hope you guys like and enjoy, because I'm enjoying the season so far. It's very enjoyable. The girls are really funny. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, want it, securing the bag.
All right, so basically it's the night after the whole dinner, and Heather is basically on the defense because she know that everybody is not feeling her. She's public enemy number one, and nobody's really feeling her right now. And I just wish Heather would wisen up and figure out, like, girl, you're on a show. You were picked on this show. You have your own franchise that you're a part of, but you're still acting like a fan. And in episode 3, she's acting like a fan, but she wants to basically project that Whitney's doing that. And I just want Heather to really figure out who she is on these shows, because she always want to play the dumb, gullible, oh, I'm just here getting red. That's it. I'm just like, girl, you really got to toughen up and figure it out, because it's irritating at this point. Leah and Marisol, they both are in the mood, and Leah's talking about, you know, I'm PMSing and I'm about to go off on people, so if they play with me, I'm going off on them. And I'm just like, Leah, you can't justify being a bitch to your PMSing. Girl, at the end of the day, you might not feel well, and that's perfectly fine. Your feelings are valid. But at the end of the day, like, come on now. Marisol, she talking about, oh my God, my stomach is hurting, you know, I can't keep it without, I'm throwing up. I'm like, girl,
I don't know if I drink a lot, but I drink for many hours. When people tell you have a problem, you know you have to stop. No one tells me I have a problem.
Put the bottle down.
you are just drinking, and then you want to make it seem like, oh my God, I don't know why I'm not feeling so well. Ma'am, you are you drink a lot. I feel like for Marisol, this is the opportunity for us to really have another chance to learn her personality and learn who she is, coming back to Miami after they had like an 8-year gap, and all we have learned from her is that she likes to drink alcohol. That is it, and it's irritating. Or when she was beefing with Nicole, there was nothing else. Like, we didn't even get deep dive into her whole relationship with her new, I guess it's her husband, but they not married, they eloped, or they're common law. So I don't even know, we don't know nothing about Marisol, who she is, what's going on. So I want them to do a little bit more deep diving with Marisol, right? All the girls go downstairs to eat, and Candace feels like shade from Portia. She's just like, you know, last night at dinner, Portia, you know, she really was coming for me, and you know, I don't really like that. Candace feels that Portia doesn't like her because of the season 5 fight with Monique. Now, we see in the confessional, Portia's just like, you know, at the end of the day, she was on Monique's side, and she felt like the fight wasn't that deep, so I don't know why Candace is coming at her. At the end of the day, you have to realize that, Portia, you had 4 fights on TV.
Are they fighting? What the Put your hand in my face, bitch!
You had the 3 on Atlanta, and you had the 1 on your show, fighting your baby daddy, and potentially his mama, allegedly. So Candace was in an altercation that one time, 2 times, but that one time she was physically assaulted by Monique, and you can't sit here and say that she doesn't have a right to feel some type of way. It might not be deep to you because that's what you were used to, cool, but you can't sit up here and say that she can't have any type of trauma from that. She got her ass beat on TV. I'd be embarrassed. No shade. I really feel like what it was is the fact that whoever was siding with Monique was an enemy of Candace during season 5. So I feel like Candace was very reckless. And even though I feel like Ashley and her did go back and forth, I do feel like Candace said a lot of stuff. And I feel like she should have just took the higher road, you know? So Leah talks to Alexis. She's like, you know, I'm a fan of Miami. I watched the whole season. This is really good. And, you know, Alexis is like, well, you know, I'm the only one on my franchise that is open and to talk about their life. And Marisol's the funny one. And I'm like, girl, at the end of the day, nobody tunes in to Miami because Marisol is cracking jokes and you are just so entertaining. Ma'am, to be honest, you were the villain of season 5. Marisol was your co-signer, and Nicole took you guys down easily too. So it's just like, you can't sit up here and make it seem like, oh, you know, they all left me and, you know, I'm just so really open. No, girl, you're not that open because you talk about the same thing over and over on a cycle.
I feel like Alexia has like a loop. You know what I mean? And she has her things that she talks about and she's sticking to them, and it's like a script.
So Leah brings up the whole situation about Alexia's ex dying during a sex act. That was actually wrong. That did not happen, but that's what she said Adriana, like, you know, spread on the show, and so we all thought that, but that wasn't what happened. She talked to her ex-husband's lover, and he told him that that wasn't what happened. I guess she just died of natural causes, you know, rest in peace. But yeah, it's a lot. So basically they arrived to the elephant sanctuary, and you know, I'll be scared too. Them are like, what, 10-ton beasts? No ma'am. Like, they throw here flinging doo-doo, flinging snot, water. No. And I saw that video of that girl over here trying to take a picture with that elephant, and the elephant tried to sit on her, and it was a baby. No ma'am. Going in the mud and the elephants, and they find out, they're like, I don't think this is mud, child. So everybody's running out because it looked like poop. But I don't think the people at the, you know, the facility is going to let them walk in there putting poop on the elephants. But you know, it is what it is. So it's lunchtime and everyone's eating, and you know, Portia's over here trying to suck a cork out of a wine bottle. Girl, I mean, I'm not mad. Leah asked all the ladies, like, what's their best and worst thing about being a housewife? Candace said that, you know, I'm happy that we're the second all-black cast, but, you know, social media has been a nightmare. Giselle looks confused and says, like, girl, you bring it on to yourself. You bring it on to yourself. But Giselle says something in episode 3 that I find very funny. We're not going to get there, but remember this because I'm a come back to this. Watch. I believe that, you know, Candace does bring a lot of stuff to her, but I feel like Candace, you know, she reacts to things. The social media wants to paint her as the villain, and as we see before season 7 of Potomac, Candace, there was a situation in Miami. Everybody thought that Candace was a part of it. So without knowing any information, they were over here dragging Candace, talking about, oh, she need to get her ass beat. We need to bring Monique back so she could beat up Candace. This is so, she got so much mouth. Not knowing that it was between Wendy and Mia. Ciao. But Candace do go low. And one thing I like about Candace is that she gonna stand there. She was like, yeah, I said it. Okay. So, I mean, how can you be mad at that? To be honest, though, I do feel like Giselle might get it worse than Candace, though. I feel like Candace gets a lot of visceral reactions and comments, but Giselle gets a lot of, like, about her whole fucking life. So, Heather Whitney says that, you know, the whole experience was great, but the pain and personal growth to get to where we're at now was the bad side of it.
My best and worst are the same thing. It's the amount of growth and personal development I've had to do. I love how I'm starting to own who I am.
And like, Alexia said that, you know, Miami made history as a show that got canceled and came back 8 years later. Portia turns, and she says that, you know, it was a sisterhood, and gets very emotional about the postpartum that she went through.
And I couldn't even turn on the light.
That she said she went through a lot of postpartum in her life, and she was trying to cope with it. And a lot of women, and one of my best friends went through postpartum, and they just felt very depressed, down, suicidal. There's a lot of things that go on when you're shifting and your hormones are shifting. And I feel like this is a great conversation for a lot of women that are either trying to get pregnant, have been pregnant, or, you know, already have kids and still going through postpartum. So it's like, you're not alone, and this is just her giving her story. So Marisol, she basically talks about, you know, her mother, and that was like a good part. Her mother loved the TV, loved to be on TV. Her mother loved the spotlight, and she gets very emotional because, you know, her mother did pass away, rest in peace, and she didn't want people to make fun of her mother, and for obvious reasons, but we're not going to get into that. Now it's Leah's turn, and baby, it was Leah's turn, and before we can even, they said, Leah, you can go. She's like, I could get tears. I'm like, girl, we're starting with tears. Okay, man. But she talks about, you know, how her grandmother passed away while she was on season 13, and none of the producers let her leave. They would refuse her to leave. Nobody in the cast told her she can go, and she was just like, oh my God, I just need to be around my family. And everybody's just like, I don't think that the producers would do that. And Whitney was like, we have the same production company, and they would never tell me I could not go to my family. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. But, you know, Leah basically says, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I got my stuff and I decided to leave. And when I was in my car, I found out that my grandmother passed away. And I would, if that was me, that will probably haunt me for the rest of my life, because my grandmother, I talk to my grandmother every day. I see my grandmother at least like once every 2 months. I used to live with my grandmother for 4 years, and that's like, we could kiki, talk about anything, and that's just my girl. So if anything happens to her, like, I don't know how I would take it, and I just don't want to talk about it. So we're gonna go to the next question. We're on the bus and we find out, you know, Candace is having, you know, marriage problems, and she was like, you know, her and Chris had the worst fight before they even came here, and she feels very, you know, anxious, depressed, because she wants to work in her marriage, but, you know, it's a lot. We get back to the villa and we find out the girls are going to have the ladyboy night. And we go to Heather's room and with Whitney, and she's over here doing her sew-in. Somebody on Twitter was like, oh my God, I didn't know white girls have sew-ins. I'm like, girl, y'all have to realize that one thing about it is that the white girls do the same thing that the black girls do. The Spanish girls do the same thing that black girls do. Everybody do the same thing, but let a black girl do it, then it's always hate. So Heather and Whitney basically talk about bad weather and how there's not no more. Whitney says, you know, I still love you and I'm still here for you. Like, nothing's going to change. Heather was like, okay, but you said they were on a friendship break, so what are you talking about? Like, something did change. And they talk about the dynamics about, you know, with Lisa, like, at the end of the day, you're friends with Lisa now, but before, you didn't want to be friends with Lisa. So what's changing now? What's the issue? And Whitney was like, yeah, Lisa put us through a lot. Lisa came for me from season 1 to season 2. But I can move on. I don't have to hold on to something. Heather don't like Lisa, and that's just what it was. And Whitney said, you know, for the first 2 seasons, I chose to have your back. I didn't like Lisa either. But Whitney, I guess she's cool with Lisa now. They bonded because they didn't like Heather. But I find it funny because they both revealed something, their logic in the confessionals about each other. Heather says that, you know, the reason why Whitney switched up on her on season 3 is because her husband lost her job, and now she's the sole provider of their family, and her success as a housewife will determine the fact that if they eat good or going to be sleeping in a cardboard box under I-95 bridge. So at some point, that makes sense. Like, at the end of the day, Whitney's going to have to do what she got to do because she is the only one making this money. I don't know if her husband got a job yet. We found out at the reunion that he still ain't got no job. I don't know why. Get a job. And then Heather feels that Whitney is trying to sacrifice their relationship for the show. I can see that. But Heather, you got to realize that you're a contributing factor in that. Like, it's take two to tango. So don't act like, oh my God, she's just trying to throw me on the bus. Girl, both of y'all are doing the same thing. Like, what are you talking about? With this, like,
Heather cares more about looking good on the show and having her hands clean. She handed me a grenade, took the pin off, let me blow up.
At the end of the day, we have to just promise that we're going to put 50-50 into this relationship. And she was like, okay, cool. They make a pact. That's what it was. Cool. Is it going to last? No. Because we already know at the reunion in Salt Lake City that they are still on bad terms. And they're going to go in season 4 still on bad terms. What I want for them to do is, at the end of the day, if y'all ain't going to be cool, stand in it. This flip-flopping back and forth, I'm cool with you, I'm not, I'm cool with you, I'm not, it makes it seem fake. It makes it seem like y'all are just doing some shit for the show. If you ain't cool with her and you over here talking about the fact that in episode 3, when we get to it, at the end of the day, ma'am, then you just need to stand in that. Because this back and forth is irritating. So the girls are getting ready, and Candace goes to Giselle's room and see that she has her grills in. And I'm just like, these girls are too nice they too nice to each other. I don't like that. I don't like that because we already know where they're gonna go. So this just seems like, girl, Candace, one thing about Candace, I feel like she always let her guard down and like, okay, I'm gonna play nice. We're gonna be good this season, like how she did Ashley in season 7. Like you let that girl in your house just for her to throw everything in your face, throw that girl in your face, Sesame Street, and then basically try to say that Chris was trying to DM her to come to the W, like he don't work there. That's why I'm like, Candace, you keep letting your guard down, and if Candace go into this next season, yeah, I want to share my life with you guys. No, Candace, they don't like you. I don't know how many times we gotta tell you they don't like you. They want you off the show. They want you to be the villain of the show, but the viewers realize that you're not. Thank God. It took 4 seasons for them to realize that. But Marisol, before everybody, she's leaving. Her stomach is hurting. I'm just like, Mama, we told you, put the bottle down. Cause she just go ahead, put the bottle down, ma'am. So they're all in the car going to the venue, and you know, the girls get to the venue and they're like, can I get a water? Can I get a Red Bull? Leah talk about, can I get a Red Bull and cigarette? Girl, combo. Ugh. Everybody try to drink water. So Candace is giving everybody their ladyboy names, right? Candace calls herself Patti LaBelle. Okay. Giselle's name.
Your ladyboy name is Shanita May.
Alexia's name is Havana White. Leah's name is Judy Ism. Marisol's name is Crystal Ball. Heather's name is Snow Right. Whitney's name is Snow Wrong. So Candace decides to leave Portia last. And she's like, yeah, you know, Portia, so we hear on the streets that, you know, you still husbands. So we're going to call you.
That you stole somebody's man. What? So your sister, Shanita man, should take a man.
Wow.
So Portia's like, how do I take a man when a man's already free? That's weird. Portia.
Take a man if he already free. That was the rumor, child. He was a free man. How about that? I'm very underwhelmed. First of all, I'm bored. And then
We sit down at the table. Portia and Giselle are definitely pressed about these names. And, you know, they said that, oh, I don't care. I don't care about this. Like, oh my God, like she throwing little shade, light shade. And to be honest, it is light shade. Because Atlanta, the shade is crazy. But at the end of the day, y'all had to do a joint confessional for the little light shade that she did. I mean, it's pressed to me. So the ladies get to the table and they order their food. Candace basically has a question for the table, and she speaks. And you know, she talks about, you know, she's having a rough patch with her husband with his new job, and basically them both having conflicting schedules and them trying to get pregnant. She asks if the show has negatively affected their marriages or relationships. Giselle says, you know, there's no way that it can't. To be honest, I mean, Giselle's been single throughout this whole entire time. And I feel like the whole Kendall and Sherman situation made Giselle never want to bring anybody else on the show again. Okay. But all shade aside, I feel like Giselle brings up a point that, you know, most husbands have to walk a straight line, because if they cheat, they would never get away with it. They would never get away with it. Michael Darby, learn. Right? So they asked Portia, like, okay, so tell us about your story about Sherman. Like, what's going on? And Portia's just like, at the end of the day, ask Candace. She knows more than I do, I guess. I said, ooh, girl's heating up. But it's funny because, like, we all know the rumors. Like, at the end of the day, last summer for almost 5-6 months on the Shade Room, Peach Daily, the blogs, OMF, reality TV, all these blogs was talking about Fallon, Simon, Portia, and this other man, Jalen. What, like we heard about this, so it's just like what's going on now with Tamar and Candy. That's all this is talking about. So we're not about to sit here and act like, oh my God, like what is she talking about? This is so crazy. So basically, Candace says, you know, the rumor is that How You Met Your Husband was on the show of Atlanta. Simon was with Fallon. That was her husband. And, you know, once the show ended, they were dating and were engaged to Portia. And the divorce wasn't finalized, and then they got engaged. That's cute. Well, everybody's telling their side of the story, but let me tell you what really happened. Bing. So, allegedly, child, because, you know, this ain't my life. Portia met Simon on the show. She said that she knew him. She could have, you know, whatever, chop it up to that. But at the end of the day, Portia, you're still failing to realize that you got engaged to this man 1 month after you started, quote unquote, publicly dating this man. Fallon started to date or whatever, hook up with Jalen, it came public about 3 months after that. I'll give you a grace, 2 months after that. So at the end of the day, that's what everybody was doing interviews with Fallon. People wanted Fallon to beat your ass because the perception from the beginning was you took her man. So we're not about to sit up here and act like, Portia, that wasn't the rumor. The rumor was you stole someone's man. You got engaged to him while he was still legally married within a month. Alexia then speaks up and she says, you know, the show definitely can come between relationships. And, you know, she was like, if the show comes between my relationship, I'm leaving the show, period. Giselle pipes up and asks her about, you know, she's like, was there a gay husband or am I tripping? And she was like, we already know this story because we heard her on Miami 1,000 times. Marisol's ex-husband was married to her, but also had his male lover on the side. We already know the story. At this point, Leah is over here rolling her eyes. She's just like, girl, what are we talking about?
We're separated for a year. We never divorced legally. I was bisexual because he obviously married me and we were together. I thought he was bisexual.
Mind you, Leah already heard the story, so she already knows. I don't think she's interested in it anymore. So she's over here rolling her eyes, and Leah's like, okay, this is boring. I heard boring.
I mean, honestly, I'm so bored right now. Wait a minute. Leah, this is an amazing story. Oh, man.
So Marisol was like, okay, you calling her story boring? Everybody's like, this is an amazing story, da 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 da. Bored too. Like, I already heard this. I heard this from Miami. So cool, y'all want to get to know it, that's fine. I wouldn't have said anything like how Leah did. I would have ate my food and probably been in my phone scrolling because, girl, I heard this. I don't need to hear it again for the 8th time now. So everybody's over here going like, Leah, like, oh girl, why you being rude? I want to hear the story, this, that, and the third.
This is the most riveting story of our lifetime, Leah. Sorry. You want to go back to talking about your micro penises? That's fine too. I know. We already talked about that.
So Marisol is like defending her friend as she does. And Leah was just like, girl, like, don't try to make us like trying to have a fight right now. Like, what are you trying to do?
You said it was boring. Well, you said you're bored. Don't you're do that. Saying when you're bored. Don't try to get me in a fight with her.
She said, don't get mad at me because your stomach hurts. Don't take it out on me that your stomach hurts. What you need to do is stop drinking vodka every day.
You're in a bad mood because your stomach hurts. Don't take it out on me. Leah, that's not fair. It's not my fault that you're drinking vodka every morning.
Episode ended. Like, at the end of the day, the girls. It's getting good. It's getting good. Like, every episode's getting better and better and better and better and better. I just feel like the only downside is the fact that they are too aware. They're too aware of what the situation is. They know they're on a show, Housewives. They know they need to bring drama, but it doesn't feel contrived, but it does at the same time because they're too aware of what's going on. But y'all, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.